We are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Like I said, I'm new to this and it's new to me. Welcome to Lessons Learned, ATW. And today, I have to say, I have a very special guest, a personal friend of mine, a person that I've worked with for about 6 years now.
Yeah.
We started working about 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2014, yeah.
I have my man Don. He's an A&R, and I have to go through his list of stuff because I don't want to get it wrong. Okay, he's an A&R. He's a recording executive, or a record label executive. I said recording. My bad. He's a tech advocate, and he's also a little. The people know he's a DJ, and he's always on the ones and twos here and there if you catch him somewhere in LA. Right now we are streaming this on the Zoom platform, and we are doing a Midwest to the West Coast type of connection. Dawn is in LA. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Donavan Brown. Donavan Brown, tell people about yourself and your background.
What's up, hey bro? Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Really appreciate it, man. And it's been a blessing to be homies with you and friends with you. So thank you for having me on the show, man.
Appreciate it. My pleasure.
Yeah, cool. So a little bit about myself. So I grew up in a military family. My dad was a diver in the Navy. So my whole life, I grew up traveling around the world, lifting my whole life up and then having to go live in a place for 3 years and learn all the customs, learn how to, what the cool things were at a school. I lived in Guam when I was 5.
Wow.
When I was 4 to 5. And then I lived in Virginia and Norfolk. Then I moved to Sicily, Italy. And I had like foster brothers. So I had like foster brothers, had to break ties with my foster brothers. There was one we actually almost adopted at the time. But it wasn't the right call at the time. So we moved out to Sicily, and that was a tough move. Sicily was a pretty interesting place, man. It was like nothing out there. It was just barren, dry desert, but it was a beautiful place once I got to know the place. And
quick question. Can you play soccer?
Oh yeah, I used to play soccer.
Oh wow, being from Sicily, I would expect that because it's like it's in like Sicily, like almost like 20 or something minutes away from Africa through the boat.
Yeah, it's pretty close, man. Like it's right near
like Morocco. I don't even know the geography.
Morocco, Egypt, like you just cross over the Mediterranean. It's about 2 or 3 hours. It's about 2 or 3 hours on an airplane to get to Africa.
Okay.
But it's super close. Yeah, it's super
hot.
You
were in Sicily for
to
your development days, your grassroots.
Yeah, man. When I was in middle school, in Sicily until early high school. Got to like travel to Germany and play American football out there. And then I moved to Japan for high school. And then, so high school in Japan. And Japan was incredible. You can get anywhere in any amount of time on the train. And then I went to college at Michigan State and studied marketing and communication. And then I moved out to Colorado, started working for Ford Motor Company and did the corporate life for 2.5 years. And I realized I was like, nah, man, I ain't about the corporate life. Something was pulling me. It was pulling me over to music, So it was, I started DJing weddings, parties. And I was like, ended up becoming like the best DJ at my DJ company. And I was having like people all throughout Colorado were like requesting me to DJ for them because not only did I have like really good sound selection, I was also able to like dance and like really engage with the people, dancing with the grandmas, dancing with the grandpas and all that type of stuff. And I think that all came from my upbringing.
Yeah, I was gonna, like backtrack to that. Like I would say being well versed in different cultures and not being scared to learn. To be in a new situation could give you an edge when you're DJing because now you're not coming into a room expecting to hear the same crowd that hears you every day or pays attention to you every day when you're DJing. This is a new crowd, so you always have to get in your bag of experience. And traveling is like oh my gosh, traveling just like it's like a superpower. It just increases your level of understanding the world way I don't know the right word. Don't want to mess it up. English is not my first language, but I mean, it's not, it's my third of, but anyways,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a superpower.
Yeah.
Traveling, it's like a cheat code. It teaches you first of all how to be humble.
Yeah.
It shows you that the world is bigger than your city, your country, and it also teaches you how to be patient now, because you're in a situation or in a country where now you have to be the person who has to speak slowly or listen slowly, because you want them to slower their language so you could pick up and communicate.
Yep.
But if
100%.
it's a beautiful thing, and how that translates to like DJing, I could see that pathway, because now you have to not walk in knowing your set. Now you have to walk in and improvise according to how your audience receives you, and you can just fit in anywhere because you're comfortable with change. A lot of people are not comfortable with change. So talking about your past and your background, which is the same thing, but how did that influence who you are right now? What are your what are your influences? Taking away the aspect of you traveling, taking away the aspect of you experiencing new cultures.
Mm-hmm.
What influenced you to being this person that you are? Like how I introduced you. You're an A&R, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've worked for big labels.
Yeah, I worked at label. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You've worked with with good artists, right?
Yeah.
You have been an executive before.
Mm-hmm.
How did all this past or background history of you later on translate to what you are doing right now, or what you did prior to right now?
Yeah, I think it all began with how I grew up, the way I grew up traveling the world. And when I was a young kid, I was always the kid that was super outgoing. I cared about everyone. I wanted to help people. And I always tried to fit in, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it was to like my detriment, trying to fit in. Being a military kid, being a military kid, you start to become a chameleon, and you start to just like go to this place and you're like, how do I change my skin? How do I change who I am? And like, be able to fit into this space. So my whole life, I was always doing this and picking up different music tastes from different countries I lived in. Living in Europe, I lived in Europe when techno and electronic music was big. So like when I was in like high school, people were playing stuff that I was hearing when I was in middle school, and I was like, oh, this is old. Like this is hot in America.
You playing the Roots Sandstorm? Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You playing that? Like, this stuff is super old. You playing, you playing Daft Punk, like Daft Punk around the world. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all. In '96.
Yeah. so that was literally what it was like. It was, I was always immersed in new things. So I was always, I want to know what the new hottest thing is. I want to know what the next big thing was. And I always wanted to I was always trying to be ahead of the curve, because being in the military, we were always kind of like ahead of the curve, but also behind the curve in an interesting way, because we got culture later. So when I was in a place where I could be ahead of the curve, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be ahead of the curve in music. I want to be ahead of the curve in entertainment. And I ended up doing plays, like acting, singing, playing instruments in the band and all that type of stuff. And then that literally translated to me, moving back to the States and just being a dude that was on hot new hip hop, and being a dude that was on SoundCloud, finding all this music and making mixes for people and DJing parties in college. And people would be like, yo, this dude's playing the heat. And I would have parties just rocking in college. And I was just like, how do I translate this to something where I can really, use the encompassing skills that I built throughout my life between traveling, around the world as a kid, having amazing taste in music, and also being able to just connect with anyone in the world. And that's what led me to doing music full-time at a music company. And that really is what influenced me, is that, and just seeing, there's different people who have influenced me along the way. One person has always been Donald Brown, because he also was similar to me in the way he grew up. He grew up in a military family, grew up with foster kids and foster brothers, and the way he was able to pull all of his experiences together and do different things like DJ, make music, create a label, and always in acting and encompassing that, it's like walking art. And I believe as an artist, I'm an artist, and as an artist, I'm not only able to do the creative stuff, but I'm able to do the business things. And now I'm realizing I'm kind of working backwards. But it's been really cool. So those things influenced me. And another person that influenced me is always Diddy. Like,
Diddy,
I love Diddy, man. Like Diddy, and seeing how he grew up, like growing up watching him and what he did. And he was always that guy that was like, I can do the creative stuff, but I'd much rather do my little thing and then let the other artists and like find other artists and find the talent and bring those people together and then make things massive from there. So that's pretty much like what influenced me to being an A&R and creating my own company.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. That's the A&R element. I mean, first it's finding a way to put the right people in the right room, whether it's physical or it's virtual, because people record music from different cities, but putting them in the right room, putting them in the same email group or wherever they could collaborate. And then the next thing is knowing what the right sound is. So I could definitely see the Diddy influence in your body of work, and it's very telling. And he was saying he worked for a company. So do you care to tell the audience what the company was?
Yeah. So I worked for this company called EDM.com, which is also now known as Artist Intelligence Agency.
Yep.
And pretty much how I got in this company was I was DJing a party for one of my friends. His name was Turner. Mm-hmm. He had this house party. He was like, yo, bro, I need a DJ for my house party / music video. And it was for this song he had put out called Red Plastic Cup. And I was like, I'm down, bro. So I started spinning. I was spinning all the cuts, playing all the music that I love. And one of the founders of the company was at this party. His name was Sean Muir. And immediately we hit it off, we vibed, and we talked about music. He was telling me how he loved my taste in music. And he was like, we're looking for A&Rs at our company. Yeah. Love for you to like come meet my brother, meet the team. And I was literally, my goal at the beginning of that year was to work for a music company. And halfway down this connection.
It found you.
It found me, exactly. Yeah, it found me. It was serendipitous, it was a synchronicity. And I really believe in those signs. And I really believe that like things happen. And right before this happened, I was working, and I was at a restaurant working for Ford, and I went into a Chinese restaurant. I opened up a fortune cookie, and my fortune cookie was, you're going to have a change in your career. So I ended up working for this music company. We worked with artists like Halsey, Millennium, Troy Boy, really big artists that we developed. We also worked with like artists like Said the Sky, who's another really big electronic producer. And we had these different labels. And then I started developing relationships with artists, and I met Strap through this, and so many other different.
Which artist is that? I don't know. I don't know that artist.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. But we built a label from this, and EDM.com had this massive SoundCloud network.
Oh yeah.
I was in charge of hip hop, the Future channel, which was like Future Electronic Beats, Future Beats. And then through that, I made a bunch of connections with really talented artists. Another one I worked with was Lexi Panetera. She's you may know her. She's known for like dancing and like twerking, and she's also a singer now. And I put out her first album, like her first songs and singles, and did all the marketing and release plans for that. So that's pretty much how my journey began with the Artist Intelligence Agency, which really was my foot in the door into the music industry that got me on the track.
Yeah, AIA was a huge stepping stone for a lot of artists. It's a huge ladder for exposure. You coming from that school of A&Rs and people that control that channel, that's very telling with your enormous body of work and how big your body of work has extended you to different fields. We'll talk about the different fields, like we talked about in your intro, the tech advocate. You being exposed to these different artists, you talked about the artists that you've worked with. The question that I want to ask after saying all that is, with you being part of this group AIA, which is Artist Intelligence Agency, AIA.
It's a mouthful.
How did that prepare you to your next journey after you left AIA?
Okay.
Like you were already exposed to these artists, Strap, all these other artists. I don't even want to. I know one person who I was a fan of, and I'm still a fan of his. It's called Will Bolton. Will Bolton. Yeah. He was raw.
Yeah, he's dope. I still listen to his stuff now. He's dope.
He's dope.
Yeah. Yep.
So coming from AIA and then transitioning to chasing your future, right? And that's sorry, I'm gonna pull that back and just put myself in there. And that's when I met you. I met you at AIA.
Yeah.
I met you during this pivot time in your life where you're still at AIA, but you're changing to becoming your own executive.
Yeah.
Or having your own group of artists that you wanted to work with. And when I met you, you were going over to the UK.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want you to elaborate that journey from AIA to what you are right now.
Cool. Yeah. So you asked about how AIA got me to where I am, and what it was about AIA was I had no access to artists. So AIA had this platform where I got an email and I could go on SoundCloud, and the artists that I always looked to, wanted to work with and like connect with, I was now able to connect them and have something that I could offer them to help them on their journey. So through that, I met tons of artists and got to connect with tons of artists. Like some of the artists that I got to work with early on who are like doing really well for themselves is Monty Booker. He's the producer for Smino. He's killing it. I was one of the first people to put out his records and like really promote his music. And I actually got to meet him when I was in Europe and France. Him and Smino were performing out there, and I got to meet them and like connect with those cats. And they were really down to earth, really cool people. I also worked with a producer named Serrano. He's actually the first artist that I managed and really built out as an artist, releasing his music on Majestic Casual and all these different platforms. Serrano's doing amazing now. His Spotify, he's over 1 million monthly listeners a month. And he has songs, he has over 100 million streams on like all the music he's touched and made. And like a lot of the music that I helped him make is hitting in like the 5 to 10 million streams now. So that was one of the artists. And then also managed an artist named Craves. And the artist named Craves was also a European artist, and he was out in Greece. And he was an artist that I worked with up until this year. So I made these connections with all these amazing artists. And through that, I met a guy named LAKEY, and he had a company out in the UK. And I started building with Serrano. I started putting out Serrano's music on Majestic Casual and all these different labels. And so AIA was like, look, we want to keep you, but we're kind of like having a tough time paying people because they were like not profitable. They were profitable, but they weren't able to make they couldn't have such a big staff. So they were like, either you work sales or and leave A&R, or you have to just like leave. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do sales. My heart is in music. I'm going to do something else. So I got on an airplane. The guys in the UK were like, come out and live with us. You can come live with us for as long as you want. Let's make this thing crack. And then I went out to Europe, and I started building with these guys that lived in London. I started working with these artists up close. They had 2 producers. One of them was Serrano, who's the main artist we were focused on. And then another one was Dre Minor, who's another sick producer who's killing the game now. He's working with all the big cats like Chip the Rip up in the UK. He's trying to work with Top Boy right now. So those were the producers. And then we had 3 rappers. We had Zach B, who is a rapper who's about to drop some heat pretty soon. Kane Marco. And then we were actually working with Steph London before she blew up.
Steph London,
Steph London wanted my people to manage her when no one knew of her. And I actually was at a video shoot with her when I was out there, one of her first video shoots. And I also posted her first single on the hip hop channel, which I posted your single on back in the day. That was her first song she ever posted.
Okay. Yeah. We've told the listenership about me making music back in the day. So how did we connect? Like, what's your recollection of that? I have a recollection. I just want to hear your recollection of how we linked up and how we became friends that, we communicate, and we don't even talk about music. We never talk about music. We always talk about metaphysics and just life. We talk about life more. So I want to hear your recollection live on wax, because I've never asked you this, and I'm really intrigued to hear that. Yeah, man. So we connected. So at AIA, we had just started this artist portal. It was like a portal we started where you could submit music. Before it was just I would have to find people, or they would have to email this crazy email. But I was like, just started this portal, and I had been listening to music all day. I heard like hundreds of songs, and I was flowing through it, and I heard this song by an artist named Strap, and it was off of your project, the Futuristic Past. Futuristic Past,
Yeah. And it was a song off of that one. And I was like, this is dope. This is different. This dude is like actually talking about things that matter and like the content of your music and your flow and your sound. I was like, I gotta feature this. Like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta feature this guy. So I just remember reaching out, and then I featured that song, and it did pretty well on the channel.
Yeah, it did.
And then we ended up talking after that. And I remember we talked for the first time, and bro, we talked for like an hour or 2 hours. And I was like, where did the time go? But it was so easy. And it was like, it was almost, it was one of those connections where it was like we knew each other. Like we had connected before, wherever it was in another life, maybe in our dreams.
Right.
Whatever it was, I felt like you were like a part of the soul tribe, you know what I'm saying? And
right.
We were like, I was like, whoa, this dude is like, he gets it. Everything he's saying, it was just like, I felt like I was elevating my consciousness in the conversation. And there's not a lot of people that I talk to where I feel like I'm elevating my consciousness, and you kind of lose track of like time and all that stuff. But it was just like, after that, we was always talking, always sharing.
Yeah, man, like
project.
Yeah, you like my personal A&R. I would send you like stuff. I'm even ideas. I would just send you stuff. I mean, you kept it honest with some stuff. I mean, some stuff you'd be like, you know, you just be like, I don't know, you know, like. But my recollection of it is you're dead accurate. I mean, I remember being a hungry artist, having this project that I've been working on while I'm going to school. I was doing my master's program at that time. I really didn't have an understanding of how this project can be rolled out. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing these different researches of places that you could just put your stuff out there for people to listen to. And at that time, EDM.com or AIA was one of the places, and it was a big platform. So I'm shooting in the dark. I'm not expecting anybody, because I'm used to rejection, you know, because especially being the person that I am, sound that rose African pride from Uganda, I really didn't expect anything. So I get this email back by this guy named Donavan saying, hey, your stuff has been selected to be featured, and your stuff is dope. If you have other stuff, don't even submit it through the portal, just submit it through my direct email. I'm like, okay, this is dope. Like I have to I'm skipping the line. I felt like I was skipping the line right there. Now I get that feeling now. You know what I do? I do the rookie mistake, and I think I sent you a whole project, and you never responded back. I think it's just so much. I think I sent you like so much. Like I was just overdoing it. And then after a while, when you were about to post it, because you guys don't post it just like that. You have a sequence. You have a time period. They could approve it like today, and then they post it like next week on Wednesday.
Yep.
You guys had like a whole algorithms of time and when to do whatever you had to do.
Yep.
Am I giving out too much secret?
No, that's it. Nah, you can.
Yeah, you guys were not doing it instantly. So when you were about to post it out, you're like, "Hey, man, I saw your email. Sorry, I didn't respond back. I'm just busy. I'm working." And then that's when we said chopping it up, and then you know we exchanged numbers, and then we said talking. Then we went into metaphysics. We went into you introduced me to a lot of books. You introduced me to Tulupa.
Yeah.
You introduced me to philosophy. We said exchanging books, what we are reading.
Yep.
You're the first person that introduced me to Dale Carnegie.
Oh, snaps.
I mean, I was reading books, but I was reading books that were all about having a strategy to make it. But you brought this different turn besides being strategic to take advantage of a situation rather than just being yourself and letting a situation absorb your energy, because your energy is very paramount and it's bigger than any situation. Yep. Because opportunists will come and take, but they cannot take. You could take as much water you want from a lake, but the lake is going to still be a lake. Yep. And those books that you were introducing me to reminded me that I'm a source.
Yeah.
I'm an energy.
Yep.
And that energy is just making this thing. So we would have these profound conversations, and I would just get up feeling motivated to work. And later on transpire to a good relationship, a good friendship, and me checking up on you, you know, you living in the UK to you coming back to the States. So let's talk about you coming back to the States after that little time. I mean, not little. You spent a few months, right? Was it
about a year?
Oh wow! You spent a year in the UK. I thought it was 3 months.
No, it was a year. So
let's talk about that. So the UK transitioned to the States. So you spent a year in the UK, coming back to the States. How was that?
So it was tough. It was tough. It was tough because I had spent a lot of money over there, and I was transitioning from living over there where it's really expensive to coming to LA where it was really expensive. And I didn't have any
Was it a direct? Because I remember I talked to you when you were still in Michigan.
I was in Michigan. Yep. So I went to Michigan for Christmas.
Maybe I'm forgetting.
No, you're right.
Timeline.
I went to the UK, and then after UK, I went to Michigan for Christmas. I stayed in Michigan for a month, and then I moved out of my place in Colorado, and then I moved back to LA. Literally a week after that. Yeah. And that transition it started out smooth. I went out there with the people that I was working with in the UK. So I had a company, and my company was
I remember the company.
Coalition. Yeah, Coalition Entertainment was the management company, and then Evo Music was the record label that we started. And we were killing it. We had songs that were doing really well. We had had garnered a lot of streams. We were making money. The money we were making from music allowed us to go to LA and pay for an Airbnb and go to meetings. We were able to eat off of it. We were pretty profitable, making money and stuff with Serrano's music and a few other deals we had. We had just got Serrano new publishing deals, so we had money from that. We had also got another artist named Lonray. His name's Harrison First. He's got some dope music coming out soon. We also helped him get a publishing deal at Sony. Right. So we had just signed these publishing deals for these artists, and we came over to LA. We went to every label you could think of. Some of the artists I was working with, we went to Interscope, ran into Kendrick Lamar. He was at the label,
you told me about that,
Yeah, I remember, he was there. And then after that, they left. So all the artists left. We actually made some music with Eric Bellinger. So we made a song with Eric Bellinger. He ended up, it's called Make You Mine. Serrano and John produced it. They were the two producers. That song did pretty well. It's got 7 million streams on Spotify now.
Right.
And that was their first big cut. It was crazy how that whole thing happened. But that was dope meeting with Eric. Christine Milian was in the video. And I was like, oh my gosh, man, I used to dream about this girl and love don't cost a thing.
Yeah,
and I'm working with I'm right there, 2 degrees of separation,
right.
You know? So it's just it was crazy being in LA and that energy and just being yo, there's so much happening here.
I get it now.
Yeah,
I get it. I understand why you moved to LA now. I get it.
Yeah, because he was out there too.
You're explaining it now. It's weird. As friends, we never talk about this now. And on the podcast, you're projecting this, and I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Keep going. Sorry. Yeah. I had a aha moment, and I just let it out. So
bro, LA's the place, man. But it rocked me. It rocked me hard because I came to LA. I thought I was killing it. I thought I was doing well. I thought I had everything. I thought I had the hottest stuff on the planet. Because in Europe, the artists I was working with, people were about it. They were like, yo, this dude Serrano is crazy.
Right.
LA, there's 1,000 artists that are just as dope. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was still pretty up there when it comes to like production level. But once they left, I was pretty much living with my boy Surf, and I was couch surfing, didn't have no money. Bills started coming in, and then I finally got a job driving Uber, and then I started to build.
That's humbling right there.
Super humbling. And this is where the humbling
coming from being an exec, having an artist who is a cash cow in this UK market, and then coming to a new land, La La Land, and there's a lot of people like him, and he's considered to be just known there.
It was humbling, bro. Because I'm thinking that we about to be on the charts. I'm thinking we about to hit Billboard and all this stuff, and we're gonna really be making the checks because we're in LA now. But the whole process is different, and you gotta earn that. You have to build, you have to meet people, and you have to put time in. They say in LA it takes anywhere between 6 months to a year to be able to ground yourself, and then it takes another 3 to 5 years to really see some return on what you're building in most safe situations. And that's if you are grinding, you know. Mm-hmm. So that wasn't really something that I had understood at that point, because in my end into the industry, I was pretty blessed to have a lot of success early on. And I think I needed that success early on to allow me to keep going. Because when I was a lot younger, I was really quick to give up on things if I didn't see an immediate return. Yeah. So it really taught me patience, and it taught me how to work the long game.
Yeah.
I ended up having an artist that I managed on top of Serrano named Craves, and he was a producer. And right before he moved to LA, we got hit up by A&R Interscope. And this guy was talking about, yo, I love the music. I want to talk to you about signing a development artist deal. So we ended up talking to him on a few calls. The calls went well. The energy seemed good. He was like, when you come out to LA, we'll go get lunch, dinner, we'll meet up, we'll chop it up and like talk about how to roll this project out. And we signed a deal in April. So it took a few months for us to finalize the deal with lawyers and all that type of stuff. But even that it was an experience where we were kind of sold on a dream, and we were kind of naive and like, yo, this is going to be the best thing. This is going to take off for us. And then fast forward, for years, we hadn't even really put any music out. We only put maybe 1 or 2 songs out. So it was all these experiences when I moved out to LA that humbled me early on. Yeah. And the only thing that kept me here was the fact that I had met good people. I made a connection with a good tribe of people, and those people kept me grounded. And then I slowly started to build up and build a community and meet the right people along the way. And then also having friends like you that I could call when I was going through tough stuff. Because I mean, we had talks when I was.
I know we did. We used to have talks. Yeah, like I mean, you definitely. Oh man, like now that you explain it from that angle, I understand why we used to have those talks and talk about life. Like not even bring music as a conversation and just talk about how we project our goals and how we attain our goals, how to channel any negative energy that we may be feeling for anything to switch it to positive. Because you one of the earliest people, this is a while ago, like 6-7 years ago, that taught me, that was 2014, 2015, how the essence of energy, it never dies, it just transfers. We used to always talk about that, and now us speaking right now, post everything, it makes a lot of sense how our communication would end up the way it would end up for those hours on the phone, because you are going through this metamorphosis that was not only just testing you, but also helping you grow as a person, giving you different layers and different understandings of life.
Yeah, man.
Talking about that, I would like to just talk about the A&R occupation, or if you had any other young A&Rs, like people that claim to say they have a good ear, they understand how to, they understand the science of putting the right people in the room.
Yeah.
How can you hone this? How can you train, and how can you groom that skill?
Yeah. So I would say the first thing is I heard Simon Cowell say this, and this is something that's kind of stuck with me. Simon Cowell always said, as an A&R, he was like, I like music and I like things. And I knew when I liked something that it was good and I could feel it. And it was just a feeling that I had about something. And he was saying when he first met Carrie Underwood, there was something about her when he saw her, and he was like, that's going to be the girl that goes all the way in this show. And it's an energy, like you're talking about. There's an energy that you can feel with people, whether it's positive or negative. And I feel like as an A&R, you have to understand that first is what that feels like. And when you hear something, how it makes you feel, how it moves you. Because when I first started out as an A&R, I didn't really know music like that well. I just liked stuff that was good. But I didn't really understand what a mix was. I didn't understand what a master was. I didn't understand any of that stuff. I was just like, this.
You know what was dope?
Exactly.
That stuff is slapping.
Yeah, it slaps.
That shit is hot.
That's hot. Yeah, it's hot.
That shit knock.
Yeah, that made me move. That moved me.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like you have to trust that. And I think that's just how it is in life too. In life, you have to trust your heart. Like I just pretty much followed my heart when it came to music. And that was at the root of what it came down to in the beginning, was just follow my heart and then having a good ear, which meant I just liked stuff that sounded good. And a lot of other people thought it sounded good, even if it was something no one knew about.
Yeah. Another thing, this is a 2-part question. I mean, it's not 2-part, but it's 2 questions. Is it an innate ability to be an A&R? Are you born with it? Some people are just, A&Rs are born, not developed, right? And then the second question is, most A&Rs in the game, not like you, like to keep it a secret that they're A&Rs because they don't want people to flood them with music.
Yeah. Okay.
Because your ear could end up bleeding. Or I don't know how it goes, but A&Rs don't want to be aired out. And I'm putting out this podcast.
Yeah.
Because you get people reaching out, sending you stuff.
Yeah, you do. You get people reaching out to you, trying to get you to listen to their music, and it's not that great. And you want to tell them that, but then you have to be constructive about it. And that was what was tough about AIA, was I was getting sent so much music every day, all the time, like nonstop. I was just in front of so much music, and people were like, yo, feature this, play this.
AIA is a huge, by the way, AIA is a huge platform.
Yeah.
A huge platform.
It's huge. And you have all these different touch points of people. So it was like, how do you find the right stuff? And as an A&R, you have to, I do believe that most A&Rs innately at the root of who they are, it's just like in life, like you have a path, like most people have something that a space they're gonna fill. I think people's experience throughout life leads them to being an A&R, and I think there is a part of that experience that does come from just being who you are and how you come up. I wouldn't say they're born, but it's very close to that. It's more like you're bred to be an A&R. You know, you're bred to be an A&R.
I agree with you. I agree with you. It has to come from your exposure to different sounds. Yeah, exactly. If you don't have like a taste that like goes back to like the 60s, 70s, you have to know your catalogs. Because if you only listen to hip hop from like 2004 till the day right now, and you're trying to A&R somebody, you're gonna be kind of biased when somebody's bringing funk into their instrumentations and like something new to them. But again, I know kids that are born like the last 5 years that would appreciate old music. So it's something that is so hard to tell. Some of this music stuff is like innate. I don't know. I cannot explain it. It's innate, bro. It's because it's at the root of everything, the root of our essence. Like you were saying, we're source. We are from the one. We're all one. There's oneness within us all. And that frequency can resonate through anyone. And it's all about how do you resonate with people. And that frequency is going to resonate differently through different people. But at the end of it, we all are connected to that source. And that's really how you can find an A&R that knows that, is they can feel the energy of the people they're bringing in the room. They can feel the frequency and the energy of the music that they're listening to, whether they have the technical information or not. And that can stand the test of time, whether it's funk, hip hop, 90s hip hop, R&B, orchestral music, opera. You can tell when something sounds good because of the frequency. And I think that is at the root of what it means to be an A&R, because the music industry is very emotional. Every A&R is all based off of emotion. Nothing is really like, no one knows what's happening right now in the industry. They're just like, this feels good and this getting people moving, people rocking. This is what we need. This is what we want to hear. Pushing the button on that one. That's it. That's the one, you know, and that's really what it comes down to. So I would say as an A&R, you have to find what you like, and you have to find the people that you like, and then you build from there, because there's so many lanes you can go in. There's so many things that can become beautiful. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world, but if you can control your section of the universe when it comes to exposing people to different types of music and artists, then you do the best you can reaching those people, and everything's gonna come into place. Okay, so you just said some really, that's it's game, but it came from a more of a Zen type of delivery. I don't know how to explain that, but you know what I mean. That's perfect. Yeah, that's a good. It's kind of like when Jesus used to speak in parables. There's game in there, but you gotta it's like food that keeps on feeding you even as this time passes. Some of those words that you just said will mean something else when they get to a certain level in life. In their music career, that is, because that's what you're an expert of. You're a subject matter expert in the music field. One thing that I'd want to talk about, I would be wrong if I didn't bring this up. When is it too old to give it up? If I'm a 40-year-old rapper, let me use if I'm a 33-year-old rapper, everything has failed in my life. I've tried everything, and I want to have a steady job. You know, right now we're in this little pandemic. I would say not little, but this pandemic, and things is about to change. And I think I'm going to lend my talents to music. And I want to be a rapper now. As a 33-year-old person, I want to go hard. It's hit or miss right now. As an A&R, as a person that's worked in amazing rooms. You've worked with artists.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give me if I walked up to you with my CD saying, hey, bro, once you play my stuff, it's the hottest stuff in the streets right now?
I'm gonna listen to it.
Okay. You gonna really listen to it? No, be honest.
Listen to it. No, I would 100% listen to it.
Okay.
I listen to everything. I would listen to anything.
Okay. You listen to it.
Yeah, I would listen to it. I would
with no conceived bias. No. What's the word? Implicit bias. No implicit bias from the way you look at me with my gray hair sticking out or looking kind of like. Okay, just the way I present it to you.
Yeah.
I'm a 33-year-old, just like me, 33-year-old person. Strap is trying to rap again.
Yeah.
You don't know me. I walk up to you, I give you my flash drive, my flash stick, or my CD. I'm like, this is the hottest stuff in the streets. You get it as an A&R. What's the energy that you're gonna get? Are you gonna like reciprocate from that or do whatever, work with from that?
It's I think it's just I'm a different kind of person. Okay. I think I've been like, I come from kind of like a very open, and I've been humbled where I don't want anything out. So I come from a place of anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a realm of possibility, quantum physics. Like I really believe that anything can happen. So I would be present with you. I would be present with you, and I would say, I would ask you questions about what you're working on, what drives you to be an artist, what is it about music that you need to do it, and then I would.
If I responded back like, I really, this is my last shot at life, and I don't have a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
I got a record. I can get a real job to really support my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a bid like a year ago or recently, and I can't really do anything else besides rap. So that's the condition that I'm put into this scenario as a 33-year-old rapper.
I would really sit with you and try to find out what your skill sets were outside of rapping. I would listen to the rap, and if it's dope, then I would see how I could help you. You know what I'm saying? Because like there's a lot of cats.
Would you if I was dope?
Yeah.
Would you? Because I know you have these connections. Would you take me to your exec friends that you know and people to these buildings that everybody wants to get into?
I would only take you there if you had done some work already. If you were just coming up to me without any numbers.
I like your honesty.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, no, and I'm being honest. Yeah, this is what really happened. Like if you came to me and you had numbers and you were like, yo, this is a release I did. I got 1 million streams on a few of my songs. I've been in this publication. I've worked with these people, and you had done your work. I would definitely take you into a room like that if I could pitch you and I could get the right person sold. I wouldn't go into any room, but I would have to go to the right person, and that's something that is really important as an A&R, is having discernment. You have to have discernment on who to reach out to, who to connect with, and who to pair people up with, like we talked about. And that goes on the same end of the business end, because I'm not going to take you to my homie who works at Geffen that is into electronic music and doesn't have an ear for rap. You know what I'm saying? And I would have to make sure I found the right person using the people that I know. So I would definitely do that. Age is it's something that definitely can be looked at and perceived as a bad thing. But if you have a cool image, if your music is hard, there's rappers that are like, 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz was kind of old.
Facts.
He was old.
Facts.
And he blew up. Rick Ross is pretty old too, and he's still climbing up there, and he's still hot. So there's a lot of hot cats that come out late. So there's no time limit. But I think there does come a time where you have to realize, are my skills best used as a rapper, or should I be looking at how I can help other people develop their sound based off the knowledge that I have, and then help them write, help them mold, help them craft their sound, help them work on their delivery, their performing, and how do I help use my energy in my life to help somebody else, because maybe it isn't meant to be. Maybe you were meant to go down the path of being a rapper, and you just got all these doors closed down because the right door was you being able to be behind someone and be a force for someone. So I like to say, if you have it, go for it. But if you feel like something's pulling in a different direction, you have to listen to that innate voice. It's your heart. Your heart is going to always tell you where you need to go.
Absolutely.
And that's how I would approach a situation like that.
Man, you were honest with that, and I appreciate you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Don, man. That's him in a nutshell. Like he's very fair with his judgment. He's a peaceful, kind being that understands balance of life, and also understands that we all have superpowers. Some people just have not yet tapped into them, and some people just need a little bit of help to tap into them. So how he approached it, he asked questions first to just know that we are really going into this fully, besides just rather than putting you into that whole chain of meeting execs and stuff. You have to ask these people, are you really ready for this? Because people are gonna call you old, people are gonna call you this. Are you ready you got good music? Are you ready for this? Because I'll introduce you to the machine, but the machine may not like you, or the machine might like you, but how are you gonna grow from that? Because right now you're already developed. Just be independent. Just keep doing your independent grind, and just be you, and just walk in your honesty and your pureness. Don, we always end my podcasts with the segment of the title of the podcast. What are your lessons learned along the way?
Yep, my lessons learned along the way. The biggest thing that I've learned, and I'm still working on, I think I will always work on this for the rest of my life, is authenticity and being grounded in who I am, and understanding how energy moves and how I respond to my environment, and being very present and mindful. I've realized that meditation and being present and having the mindfulness practice has helped me along the way. And then also realizing that I don't have to be cool with everyone. I don't have to be, tight and best friends with everyone. You find the right people, the right tribe, and you should just be able to be authentic. And when you really are authentic and you're aligned, and you're aligned to the core, which we're all working to, is becoming more whole. That's when everything starts to click and shift into place. So I would say that's been the biggest lesson for me, and it's still something that I'm always learning and readjusting in every moment, and just being as present as I can at every moment to ensure that I am being myself and I'm connected with my highest self in every moment.
Awesome, man. I could not even say that any better, man. That's your personal experience, just articulated in the best way. Before Don goes away, and before we end this podcast episode, I would want to say Don and a bunch of people have developed an app for artists. It's called Ryse, RYSE. It's on all devices, both Android and Apple. If I find a way with the post-production of this podcast, I'll probably put a link up there. Before we conclude this and end this podcast, Don, do you want to talk about this? Or Donavan, do you want to talk about this?
Yeah,
I talk to you like my dude. Like you're my guy. So come on.
Yeah, you can call me Don, bro. Yeah, but yeah.
Third Eye Don.
Third Eye Don. Yeah, that's Third Eye Don on all social media. But yes, so Ryse is an app that is meant to connect artists around the world. So this tool is allowing artists to do a video call out, and through a video call out, artists will be able to connect with people. So they'll say, hey, I'm a producer. I'm looking for a songwriter to write this record on my beat. The producer will send that call out, and everybody on the app will be able to have access to that call out. The songwriters that see the call out will be able to submit their music with the submit function. People that are on the app, other artists can upvote it, they can like it, they can save it, and then the producer will pick a winner. Those producers, they work together and they collaborate with the songwriter, and then they make a record. And what we're trying to do is build a social label with the resource center that helps artists. So it tells artists how to release their music, how to build. We're also doing something where we're showing marketing the process of making a song. So most of the time, a label shows you the finished product and they put it out on Spotify or SoundCloud. We're showing you the process from start to finish of how to start and finish a record. So it's a different perspective. And eventually this is going to lead to us working with brands. We actually had a radio station that was looking for an opener for the baby. We did a call out with that radio station. Hey, we're looking for a performer. Send us your hottest stuff. And all these rappers started sending me stuff to try to have the chance of opening up for an artist. So this can scale out in so many different ways. We also have a radio station called Firelane, and they always are looking for DJs to spin their music on their radio. So we have DJs post their mixes, and they pick up a DJ every month to feature their mix for an hour every day. So this app is scaling out to, we have about 65,000 users that have signed up and downloaded the app. But
I signed up.
Yeah. And we have so many people. The list is growing of people that are using it, engaging. We just built our team out. We have a team of A&Rs and also a team of marketing team that's helping us build it and develop artists. So what we're looking to do is just build with artists of different sizes and help people rise up. You know, this is an avenue for artists who don't have access to people in LA or don't have access to a producer. Bedroom producers don't have access to writers. This gives them the chance to connect with one another in a way that hasn't been done yet. So,
yeah, I mean that app is so it's so like forward trending. What's the word I want to say? Forward. What's the word? What's the tech word? Forward thinking. Yeah. Latest and greatest.
Innovative.
Yeah, I just want to use like the cliche tech lingo. Latest and greatest. I mean, it's no away from the jokes, but the app is amazing. It's an amazing platform for artists to even not only look for contemporaries or look for production or look for A&Ring or look for engineers. It's amazing. It's like if you have a LinkedIn, imagine LinkedIn for the corporate with just only musicians and artists and creatives. It's just amazing. These brothers and sisters who are building this app that Don is part of are going to be billionaires in the future. Like they've been working hard, and what they're doing is so it's so, you know, it's futuristic. It's something that I never saw ever happening, you know, and now that it's happening and I'm in there and I'm playing with the app, I'm seeing so many opportunities and different doors that could possibly open because I'm that type of person. I see ideas. I'm never the person that comes up with the ideas, but I can see the ideas project to something bigger than what they are right now. And I really appreciate my guy Don.
We'll definitely have to tap in offline, bro.
Absolutely. We definitely have to tap in offline. Don invites me periodically to concerts on Zoom. And it's something fun. I mean, it's something new to me. I've never sat down to watch somebody play a guitar or rap 25 bars on a Zoom session, but I mean, this is a new normal, like everybody says, and I'm so blessed to have my brother on my podcast episode and to drop game and also to invite people to his talents and his gifts, because he's open. Like if you're an artist who's coming out and you know you have something good, reach out to Don. I mean, he will respond to you at his time because he's a busy person, but he'll reach out, he'll respond back to you. He's a very authentic and real person. Don, thank you for sitting down with me and you know, being part of Lessons Learned ATW.
Thank you so much for having me, bro. I
appreciate you, my brother. Peace and love.
Podcast, man, and where it goes, man. You're amazing, bro. Thank you.
Hey, double salutes, my brother.
Safe.
Hey, peace and love.
Yeah, peace and love, bro.